Alright, everyone, let's work through this interesting geometry problem together. We have a rectangle containing two circles that are touching each other externally. The smaller circle touches the top and left sides of the rectangle, while the larger circle touches the bottom and right sides. The width of the rectangle is 22 centimeters. The smaller circle has a diameter of 8 centimeters, and the larger circle has a diameter of 20 centimeters. Our goal is to find the height of the rectangle, which we'll call h. Before we begin, pause for a moment and see if you can figure it out yourself. If you're enjoying these geometry challenges, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your answers in the comments before we reach the final result. Now, let's begin by identifying the most important information. The smaller circle has a diameter of 8 centimeters, so its radius is half of that, which is 4 centimeters. The larger circle has a diameter of 20 centimeters, so its radius is 10 centimeters. Remember, the radius is simply half of the diameter, so this is always our first step. Next, let's imagine drawing a horizontal diameter through each circle and marking the center of each one. Since the smaller circle touches the left side of the rectangle, its center must be exactly 4 centimeters away from the left edge, because that distance is equal to its radius. In the same way, the larger circle touches the right side of the rectangle, so its center is 10 centimeters away from the right edge because its radius is 10 centimeters. Now, let's carefully find the horizontal distance between the two centers. The total width of the rectangle is 22 centimeters. We already know 4 centimeters are occupied from the left to the center of the small circle, and 10 centimeters are occupied from the center of the large circle to the right edge. So the remaining distance between the two centers is 22 minus 4 minus 10. 22 minus 4 gives us 18, and 18 minus 10 gives us 8. So the horizontal distance between the centers is 8 centimeters. Now let's think about the vertical direction. The center of the smaller circle is 4 centimeters below the top edge, because that is its radius. The center of the larger circle is 10 centimeters above the bottom edge, because that is also its radius. The vertical distance between the two centers is still unknown, so let's call that distance k centimeters. Here's the key observation. Since the two circles touch each other externally, the straight line distance between their centers is equal to the sum of their radii. This is an important property of tangent circles. Therefore, the distance between the centers is 4 plus 10, which equals 14 centimeters. Now notice what we have. We have formed a right triangle. The horizontal side measures 8 centimeters, the vertical side measures k centimeters, and the hypotenuse measures 14 centimeters. Whenever we know two sides of a right triangle, we immediately think of the Pythagorean Theorem. This theorem tells us that the first side squared plus the second side squared equals the hypotenuse squared. So, let's substitute our values. 8 squared plus k squared equals 14 squared. 8 squared is 64, and 14 squared is 196. That gives us 64 plus k squared equals 196. Now we want to isolate k squared, so we subtract 64 from both sides. 196 minus 64 equals 132. Therefore, k squared equals 132. To find k, we take the square root of both sides because the square root reverses the squaring operation. This gives us k equals the square root of 132. We can simplify that because 132 is 4 multiplied by 33. The square root of 4 is 2, so k equals 2 multiplied by the square root of 33. As a decimal, this is approximately 11.49 centimeters. This value represents only the vertical gap between the centers, not the total height of the rectangle, so be careful not to stop here. Now, let's find the complete height. The rectangle's height is made up of 3 parts. At the top, we have the radius of the smaller circle, which is 4 centimeters. In the middle, we have the vertical gap, which is 2 multiplied by the square root of 33 centimeters. At the bottom, we have the radius of the larger circle, which is 10 centimeters. So, the total height is 4 plus 2, multiplied by the square root of 33 plus 10. Combining the whole numbers gives us 14 plus 2, multiplied by the square root of 33 centimeters. If we use the decimal approximation, the height becomes 14 plus 11.49, which equals approximately 25.49 centimeters. Rounding to one decimal place, the height is approximately 25.5 centimeters. So our final answer is 14 plus 2, multiplied by the square root of 33 centimeters, or approximately 25.5 centimeters.